this
Did
list.
he just call my mom a
intentionally.
whore? What? Are you fucking?
Are we just still talking about Marvel movies?
No, we're talking about bread.
Thor: The Dark World.
Okay, oh, yeah.
That was at 20.
Oh yeah, that was his 20.
Yeah, that was 20.
I thought it was
See,
Bread
it's a
Boy.
forgettable-
Like Black Panther. But like, I think Endgame should.
Is that why I smell trash in this room?
It's Michael Douglas. Michael Douglas
Douglas.
is great.
Duckless.
The villain is definitely
Fuck is my
the
duck? We all got that. We all got that. Right. Who's going first?
whoever
You wanna
wants
go first?
Yeah.
I'm okay.
So no talking until all the lists are done?
Yes.
Okay, okay.
Then we can compare and contrast.
Yes.
So.
This
Hour 44.
is
It's
my
okay, I've had
official
longer videos.
list. Ragnarok, Black Panther, Endgame, Doctor Strange, the first Guardians of the Galaxy.
Is that your number one?
That's my number one.
Oh, sweet. Okay. You want me to go? I'll go.
You go,
I'll
you
just
go.
go ahead and say mine. So number 5, I put Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Okay.
And then at 4, I put Captain America: Civil War. 3, I put Iron Man. 2, I put the first Avengers. And then number 1, Guardians of the Galaxy. So
Really?
Yeah.
I had Far From Home, Ragnarok, Homecoming, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, and Infinity War. I can't believe this. Am I the only one that has Infinity War on my final list?
Yes.
You don't have Infinity War on your
I
final
have
list?
Endgame on my final list.
That one has to be
Hey,
eliminated.
I like that we each have a different Avengers movie in our top
Yeah,
5.
yeah, I like
That's
that. I
cool.
like that.
So,
Now
but
we must
none
fight
of us
to the
have Age
death.
of Ultron.
yeah, so if you were to score them, what scores would you give them?
If I had to give them scores?
Yeah.
Like scores
Just off the top.
Oh.
It doesn't have to be like
out of 10?
out of. I did at mine.
I
out
do.
of
I'm gonna
5.
do lemons. He does 5s. You
Mhm.
do 10s. I do lemons.
Do whatever scoring system. You want.
Okay. I give Ragnarok and Far From Home 8s out of 10. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, and then Homecoming. Yeah, I'll put Infinity War. Those all have 8.5 lemons. So
none of them are
8,
perfect
8.5.
scores.
8.5. No, because I hate to be this guy, but the MCU, while it is like a miracle that that's actually around and like a part of cinema, there's none of those movies that's like a 10 out of 10.
I disagree, but
There's not
That's
one that
alright.
I see and I don't find some flaw.
I see. The thing is,
But
though,
also, when I do my scores, I also have to take into account personal enjoyment.
Yeah.
So like that's why some of these, while they may have like been crafted near perfectly as a film, the enjoyment level wasn't always there for me.
See,
you know?
for me, I think the movies that I have like in my top 5, they have flaws, but they're overshadowed by what's good. So they're not really noticeable.
You accept that there's imperfections in every
Yes.
movie, but like
There is.
I gotta say something about that. I have to, I really have to make sure though that I am objective with my scoring.
Yeah.
So like here's the thing, my favorite animated movie of all time is Shrek 2, and Shrek 2 is by far not a perfect animated movie.
That's true.
Like enjoyment level for all of these for me is a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
But I have to take into account because I care very much about how the film is made, you know. So I have to put the flaws. The fact that they are so high shows that like I find them to be beautifully made movies. But enjoyment level for all of these, I would give 10 out of 10.
So let's do enjoyment level.
Just
I
enjoyment
feel like-
level.
yeah, I feel
Dude,
like-
wow.
I feel like that would be
Okay.
more honest.
Okay. Ragnarok, it's 8.5 because I got really damn bored whenever Hela was around. I didn't care. I didn't find her that compelling. I think personally, it should have just been Thor Planet Hulk. Because that's what the Gladiator Planet was. Like there was the Planet Hulk comic line, where like he was a fucking gladiator on this alien planet. Yeah, just make it Thor Planet Hulk because the Asgard stuff was kind of bland. Far From Home, we just watched it. It's so much fun.
It is.
Even when you know what happens, you still like, even like with the twists, you're still kind of like, oh wow. So
It's
yeah,
acted really
so
well.
Far From Home, yeah, it's a 10. Then Homecoming, I gotta give it 10. Guardians of the Galaxy, 9.5, just because of one part, which is the fight between Gamora and Nebula, when they were like, I just wanted a sister! I didn't care. But then Infinity War, fuck. That's, again, flaws aside, that, if you guys don't mind, I think I want to explain why I consider that my number one.
Go ahead.
Because obviously, like the whole point of the MCU being a thing is that there was eventually going to just be that payoff, you know?
Mhm.
And while Endgame was the payoff, I just noticed some more flaws with it that kind of took me out of the experience. But the fact that they can make an ensemble, and there are flaws with the movie. There are flaws with Infinity War.
Yep.
But, like, there were never moments in Infinity War where I felt overwhelmed. There were none where I felt annoyed, none where I felt pissed off or exhausted. And, like, all the way through that movie, seeing the ensemble of literally everybody together fighting the best villain of the MCU at his peak. I watched that movie and I'm like, and also, thank God that we finally got a movie where they fucking lost.
Yes.
And I was talking to somebody. It's not you guys, but I was talking to somebody. They were like,
Dude, they lost Iron Man. That's all.
I'm like, okay, if the MCU's still gonna keep going, they didn't lose.
Mhm.
They got the world back.
They won.
They won. They fucking lost at the end of that movie. That movie was nothing but bittersweet, and I loved it. I love movies that aren't fan service. That was my
Yeah.
problem with Endgame, is there was just a bit too much fan service.
The reason Infinity War didn't even make my top 10, it just feels so corny now.
Really? I didn't get that.
I get that vibe from it.
Did you get
It's
corny?
No.
It's
Thanks.
so
Thank you.
cheesy.
See, he's feeding into my indulgence.
I got final show.
But it's okay to have different opinions. It's what makes you unique. You don't have to go with the mainstream opinion of people, which is what you're doing.
Oh wow! See, I thought you were being cool. Now, fuck you. You can get the fuck out of my room. Yeah, there's definitely flaws with the movie, and I can't blame somebody if they don't like the movie. But I definitely think I think the one movie. Like, here's the thing. Like, we were talking about Jaws.
Yeah.
There's a difference between like a popcorn watch and a blockbuster. Endgame is a popcorn watch. I find Infinity War to actually be a blockbuster. Watch it at home or at the theater, I have the same amount of enjoyment.
Yeah.
You know?
I just don't. I really don't anymore. It's kind of lost a lot of its enjoyment value.
Good for
Man,
you. Wow.
you talking about Infinity War and Endgame kind of makes me want to flip them, but
It's
What do you mean?
like flip Endgame with Infinity War.
But I
on the
made so
list.
many good points.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, I thought you were talking about his
He's
points.
on your side.
Oh,
Carter.
okay. I didn't even.
So-
I haven't really been paying attention that much throughout this whole thing.
Yeah, I
Oh.
noticed.
But the other ones, there's not just much to explain. Strong characters in them, great villains and all of it. Like,
I mean, I think what we're really
I put Homecoming above Far From Home because Vulture was much better than Mysterio.
I agree.
Mysterio was more intimidating, but as a character, as a written character, Vulture's way better. Because Vulture was just kind of pissed off at him, like, hey,
Yeah.
kid, fuck off. Like, I'm just trying to do my business.
yes.
This guy, you said it, he was like, just, oh, revenge. I hate Tony Stark, so let's get revenge. It was a bit cliche.
I do like with
Like,
Vulture.
fuck, like his was just fuck you, Tony Stark, but this kid was like, fuck you, kid, get out of my face.
I did like with Mysterio though. It wasn't entirely Mysterio. It was kind of like Mysterio's group.
yeah.
Like the group made Mysterio.
I do like.
I kind of like that. That was kind of neat with a villain, which is kind of a collective like people, and how he pointed out all the things that each individual
Yeah.
person did.
That's
That was
another
neat.
thing. That scene, like, that was awkward to watch. I felt like
Oh really?
it felt forced. That wasn't natural. I mean, he was like, hurrah, huzzah, big toast, but like, oh, I like your exposition here to explain these characters that we've never seen before. Like, way to be subtle about it. Like, when I brought up that point to you today, that was the first time I thought about that, where I was like, he's like acting like a theater director right now. Like, I've
Yeah.
never seen that. Like, I never saw that before when I watched, but he was like, cut, bring that, like, bring the bring the cyclone back. You should probably put it over there. I don't like it. And it's like, stop,
Yeah.
cut.
Yeah, and
Who
he's
the
like-
fuck is walking back there behind the stage? We're trying to get this shot. And then the thing with like the birds, it's like, well, get them the fuck out of there. Like, what are they doing?
Yeah.
Like, it felt like a director,
Yeah.
like in a high school play. I thought that was fun. But Vulture is much better, and his twist, I think, was much better
It was
and
really
way
good.
less predictable.
Yeah. I did not see that coming.
I think if you've read comics, you knew Mysterio was going to be a bad guy.
Yeah, I already know.
But
I
they
knew he was
introduced
gonna be bad.
Vulture as a bad guy early on, so the twist works with him because it's not
the twist
him.
wasn't I'm bad.
Mhm.
It was oh, so you're gonna bang my daughter. And it's like,
Dude,
what?
my heart stopped when he rang that doorbell and he
Yeah, you were
was
telling
just
me it was like you opened it up and it was like, wait, why are you here?
I was just like, this was a mistake. This was a mistake. Get out.
even my parents who aren't really big fans of the MCU, they're like, wow, what a twist.
Yeah.
It's like,
Do we all have Homecoming on our lists?
yeah, I have mine
For the
number
top
5.
top 5?
No.
God damn it!
And I kind of regret it now, but I'm
You can-
locked
I mean,
in.
You can change it.
No.
Okay.
No changing.
No.
No.
But it doesn't go away because more than one person had it.
Yeah.
Which is why I gotta get rid of Infinity War.
Yeah.
Don't laugh at my opinions. That's just rude. No, just how you're like, now I gotta get rid of Infinity War. Like you're all happy about keeping Spider-Man Homecoming, but then with this one,
I think the only one from your list that we keep is Homecoming. No, yeah, Homecoming.
Ragnarok, we both have Ragnarok.
Oh, Ragnarok. too,
Yeah.
Okay.
Far From Home. Do you guys?
No Far From Home.
Damn.
I actually, be honest, I forgot about adding that to my list right after I watched it. So we
Oh.
just finished Far From Home, and this is not on this list.
I will improvise.
First at the bottom, ranking 7 out of 10 for me. Matching kind of equally with Black Panther. Like these could go either way. Ragnarok is the bottom of the best.
Okay.
Had plenty of funny moments like Ant-Man and the Wasp. Not as many,
Yeah.
but it had its good times. And interestingly enough, I love the Asgard stuff. I love the Asgard of Asgard as a people, not a place.
Come from a guy that watches Venom and Minions. Go watch Asgard with Venom and Minions
I
in
like-
the background.
I love spin-offs.
There's
Anyway,
plenty of good spin-offs. You picked
we
that one.
we are talking about
Marvel.
Marvel.
You picked Minions as a spin-off.
That's what I'm saying.
Funny.
Hey, you said Minions. I didn't say anything.
That's in my podcast. The podcast that you're in, you're like,
I love minions.
and I'm like, fuck you.
So Ragnarok, I really like seeing Thor throughout the entire movie. He totally felt like Thor. All his actions, all his decisions, and I love that interaction between him and Hulk in the whole... I didn't really have a problem with any of it.
Yeah.
I
I gotta ask you guys, what did you think about them finally just kind of dropping the serious act with Thor? Because in the first two, well, no, but like what I'm saying is like in the first two they tried to make Thor serious because he's a god, but then I feel like by Thor 3 they were just like, fuck it, dude, he's a comedian.
You know
like
what I
just
see
as
let
though?
him be goofy.
I don't have an opinion on it because I haven't seen his series.
That's true.
You
What
know
do
what
you
I
think,
see
Bill?
it as though? It's just him evolving after he's interacted with humans.
Oh shit,
So-
that's even better.
Oh, he's
I like
loosened
that.
up.
He's loosening up. Yeah.
But like I just love him so much more because he's dropped that whole like Asgardian personality of like, oh, look at me, I'm a fool.
You could say in Endgame that's what he needed more of.
But I think he was better because he didn't have that. Because he did embrace the human where he's just like, fuck it, pass me a beer. No,
That
I
made me
would
so
like a
sad.
Bloody Mary.
Black Panther. I don't know what's wrong with you guys.
Overly-
I loved it. I loved the political I loved learning about this culture. I loved
You didn't know
learning-
about slavery?
I was going to
No,
say.
no. How Wakanda works.
Oh.
I do like that aspect.
And like the different tribes and like the whole pit scene and like
But I think that you really, I think this is where someone like you and me differ on this. I think you look at movies with what they represent, you know? That's why you like Venom, because you like that, you like seeing that Venom was shown as a comedic character, whereas when I look at movies, I'm very critical on how the movie was made with like the fine detail stuff in terms of pacing, acting, dialogue, character development, and just like extra stuff that doesn't need to be there. You like Wakanda for the world that it built. I think I'm looking more at it as the film it was.
oh.
Yeah.
Well, I think that this is one of the biggest things that pulled its weight in the world of, and it was, I mean, majorly impactful in Infinity War. That's where the whole like showdown happened. The cool tech was awesome, and like
that's true.
Like that and
That
seeing
Robo
that tech,
Rhino?
that tech was really kind of like you didn't. It's unlike other like sci-fi stuff you typically think of, like a suit that builds up kinetic energy and releases it. That was fantastic.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that was awesome. And then great idea. And then just seeing Black Panther's struggle against this other guy, which I wish they would have gone more with people debating like maybe the other guy was a better leader. I wish they would have pushed that more than like the slavery thing. But
That would have been amazing.
yeah.
I might have liked it more if
Like,
he did that.
Yeah. And because that's kind of how I like it kind of set it up for that.
Yeah.
Because he won the initial fight, by the way. Yeah, like so like he's a better leader. But him fighting that, like his own self-worth almost as a leader, and him pushing for Wakanda. And it was I just loved it. Endgame was my next one. I do see the flaws that you guys mentioned.
Yeah.
I will say I did not previously see those flaws this morning when I watched it. So, but still, it was a real shocker to me. First scene, not first scene, but real quick into the movie. Love seeing how people changed over 5 years. Fantastic. That there made a perfect exposition, like beginning of this plot story. It was fantastic. Moving on to Thanos dying, like just like right off the bat, I was legitimately wondering like, well, what are they gonna do? Because what I thought they were gonna do is use the time stone originally. I was thinking like, oh, they got a time stone. It's all good, time travel. But like, Thanos destroyed the stone, so I was like, what are they gonna do? So that was nice. I liked the scene of them trying to figure out like where the stones would be. And I liked how it called out to the old ones, which I'm not sure if this was the proper movie to do it, but they did well with it. Got legitly worried about when like some of them screwed up on getting the stones. And we talked about the scene with them fighting for the Soul Stone. And the showdown, like the ending showdown, I've always seen that Marvel, because I feel like there's a certain mistake that showdown, like superhero showdown stuff makes.
Yeah.
And which they kind of don't utilize the heroes enough, like to their full potential. Like they go through this whole movie, you get to see them do all their cool action, and then when they're in a big fight, like let's say all the villains versus all the heroes, they just kind of start looking like normal soldiers.
I can see that.
But they didn't make that. I was worried about that with the fight in Civil War. They didn't make that mistake. They utilized all of them. It was perfect. They didn't.
Yeah, you still hate it.
They didn't make that mistake in Infinity War. They optimized that well, and I can see how you say it's messy, but I think it's just because they couldn't handle that many. Like they did as well as they could, but the sheer volume of heroes and villains.
That's a good point, but like that's exactly my criticism. Like it was as good for how much they had. I'm just saying they had too much.
Yeah, but like who are they gonna cut out?
I'm not saying that they should have changed it, but I can't help but view it and be overwhelmed. You know, I'm not saying that there's a better alternative because there's not, but when I see that, I can't help but just like, jeez, like I'm nauseous.
I love the initial fight scene with Iron Man, Thor, and Captain America
That one.
fighting Thanos.
That one I
that
loved
was
a lot more.
beautiful.
I love that one a lot more than like the big one.
But then like I liked Captain America just standing there, like no hope, like, and he has the face of like I will charge them, and I will die. Like I'm not gonna back out.
Not willing to give up.
Yeah, but then I love the scene with all the portals opening, all the sorcerer portals, and then everyone.
The music in that
joining.
scene.
That was beautiful
It's
too.
really good.
But I can see how you say the fight was a bit messy.
It was.
And then that, of course, that scene with the
Feminist.
yes, that.
Let me show you this real quick.
Cowboy made
Yeah, I need a colored pen. If you follow the cowboy, I didn't even mean to do this, but it happened. Then you got the so that's the head, shaft, and then the balls. It's still a penis. That wasn't even on purpose. Look, you can see. Yeah, look, it's a cowboy, but he makes a penis.
It looks like a penis.
He does. I'm sorry. Okay,
So that's what we talked about in the middle of Endgame.
It's okay.
Well, I was done anyway.
Oh, that's it. Okay.
No, I'm not done.
Oh.
Doctor Strange, boy.
Oh. Yeah.
Next one, second to the top. Doctor Strange, absolutely fantastic. Little to no complaint. I loved the he really had a unique problem. Simply a disability that he needed healed.
Mm-hmm.
Like
that I loved.
That was really interesting.
It wasn't any like they usually like overcomplicate all of the like origin stuff, but with him it was just, hey, I'm trying this traditional healer for my hands.
The MCU is really good at coming up with unique origin stories.
Yes.
I loved the group, the whole group, and the whole idea with how like kind of backwards thinking it is to the initial Doctor when he walks in with his critical and smart, and like he's used to being the smartest man in the room, and he was the dumbest fool when he walked into that place. And
you soiled fool.
I like to think of it like throughout the story, it's about his intelligence mixing with his ego, clashing with his good heart and morals, and like stop resisting it. And like let the flow go, and then he can use his
Flojo.
Yeah, Flojo.
Nice.
I just ate some paper and I didn't even notice I did it. I was just kind of like a non-thinking.
I can't think of a complaint with the movie. The visuals were fantastic. The music was good. The combat scenes were great. How he got all his, like all the scenes of him training, I loved.
Okay, so he clearly doesn't understand film. If he found no problem.
I agree.
We're gonna go with your list. We like your list.
What? What was wrong with the film?
What was wrong with the film?
Mainly pacing.
Pacing was real weird.
The pacing.
I didn't buy him and Rachel McAdams together, which I mean that's a personal thing. Someone might have.
Wait,
I brought
Rachel McAdams.
the one nurse.
Oh.
I didn't buy their chemistry. The ancient one was cool, but I found her. Here's the thing. Her death was really fucking weird.
Yeah.
For her being as fucking powerful as she is, and she just like splatted on the ground. Well, I guess her thing is like because she can like see the future and stuff, so maybe she just like accepted her fate.
Well, no, that was it. That was no matter how much she could prolong her life, that was her death, and there was no reality to prevent that. That was what she was talking about. Really? I saw nothing wrong with the pacing.
She's a fucking celestial creature.
Yeah.
And
she was stabbed too.
She was stabbed. Okay.
She's still
a celestial
she's
creature.
still limited to her physical body.
That would be like if they just snapped Ego's neck, and he died.
Yeah. Okay. Ego's a planet.
Well, the other one she's got mental powers as strong as Ego's.
She's not celestial though.
Well, she's not. I just said that in terms of like scale.
But she's
her
not.
Abilities. She's not like in outer space.
She's siphoning the power from like essentially an Eldritch god. That's why she has so much power.
So she's a demigod essentially. And they
Limited
stab
to
her
her
and squish
body.
her. And again, Ego is basically a god. He's a fucking planet, or he's less than a god. But that would just be like, he's gone.
Well, essentially, but if you think about it, in that fight, they were equal and matched. Because they both used the power from the same source.
That's a good point.
He's good, yeah.
That's a good point. But it's still like that. That felt like kind of a. You know what? You guys wouldn't know this, but it feels like Carl's death in The Walking Dead. That kid has literally grown up to literally do nothing but adapt to this universe, to that zombie apocalypse. And what happens to him?
Gets bit.
Gets bit. Yeah, did that guy get bit? Really?
I mean, but I would argue that her power isn't from her action, like her cool combat.
I never said
it's her
about
mind.
Cool combat.
Yeah, but I'm saying that's why
she too powerful. Oh, so you're saying that like she doesn't have like much for like physical strength?
Yeah, her power was in her wisdom.
That's fair.
And like she changed this man. into the greatest
but-
sorcerer of all.
But it's like I said, like once I finished with the movie, it's my fart movie. I
Really?
loved it, but after like 5 hours of it, it was like, wait, Dormammu? Oh yeah, that like big face.
I personally
or
think
whatever.
that a lot of people need to spend more time liking talking scenes. Scenes where nothing
I
is
like
happening
talking scenes if they're done
besides
well.
talk. They are.
That's
well.
all that Winter Soldier
Ev-
is, and I love that.
Every scene in Doctor Strange was developing character.
That's true. But here's the
And,
thing,
like, it meant something.
I can't help my own boredom.
That's true.
If I look at a movie, here's the thing. Objectively, there's little wrong with the movie because it's written great. Pacing is off, but I can't help my enjoyment level. My enjoyment level is just what it is, unless I get persuaded by you to like it more. That's the only way that it can change.
Like-
You can't debate that.
I see. Yeah, okay, I guess it's fair that like just. But I thought before though it was like, oh, this guy clearly doesn't know film.
How dare you? How dare you? I never said that.
Okay, so he clearly doesn't understand film. If he found no problem. I agree.
Top of the top, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Really?
Not a
Could not agree more.
I just
Not a
thought, yeah. Here's the thing.
Except the villain.
Like I said, I wanted
Only
to put
thing.
it up
Only
there,
thing.
but I knew that I was limited to 5,
Mhm.
and I love the second one just that little bit better. You know?
I can see though that they didn't want to divert much time into developing the villain as much.
Yeah.
I can see why that's a problem. I know.
That's the
But
only
because they diverted
problem.
more time to the group.
Yeah,
And I think that paid off in the end.
it did.
Oh, Nebula sucked in the first one.
Yeah,
She was a lot better in the second one.
she was. Even then, I don't really like Nebula too much.
I don't like her too much. I thought she was pretty cool in Endgame.
She has a very.
She wasn't annoying.
She was the most forgettable one out
Forgettable,
of that
but that's not like. But I didn't feel a negative emotion towards
No.
her. So we have to come to a conclusion on what is like the
first,
best.
we need to cross out Guardians of the Galaxy, yes.
Yes.
Nope. Yeah, he had it.
Endgame,
No.
Ragnarok.
Yep, I had it.
Okay, so I only have 2 left.
You had Homecoming, so that's good.
Yep.
Civil War's gone.
Yep, that's gone.
Iron Man's gone.
Iron Man's gone.
And the Avengers is gone.
So we only have Guardians of the Galaxy, Homecoming, and Ragnarok.
So.
So I think now we just have to be as objective as possible.
Yes, I agree.
Look at this from a straight
So
Marvel
put-
film standpoint.
Put down.
We've let our opinions get us this far.
Yep.
Now let's
Damn.
talk about what was the best of the best.
I guess let's start with Homecoming. Why not?
Okay,
So Homecoming.
Homecoming, while I think it probably had the least flaws compared to the other two,
Mhm.
it doesn't feel like it has that kind of like action-packed standing out feature that the other two do.
Yeah.
The other two feel like such huge parts of the MCU, while Homecoming as a film may be better than the other two. Can we say that it's the best MCU movie?
Ooh, that's a good point.
Don't know yet. Let's not give like our final judgment.
No,
Oh no, we're not. We're
yet.
not. That's
Not
just a
yet.
question you.
That's just like one
Um,
thing that I've been thinking about with like.
Well, I could see that like maybe it's a really good, maybe it's a better movie like if it's not part of the MCU, but
well,
it is.
we need to think about this as an origin story movie of the new Spider-Man that they're really presenting here.
So
it's a sort of origin story. It's not
It's
like
not
other
entirely.
origin stories. It's
No,
more,
it's not like the Iron Man.
it's not
or
it's
like
not Spider-Man
Thor.
getting his powers. It's Spider-Man becoming part of the Marvel universe.
Yeah,
It's a different origin
If you
story.
look at it from that angle, it's actually really good. I love
It
that.
is.
I love that.
And
That's something important.
It's got a
to keep
really
in mind.
deep meaning to it too. It's
the
like,
thing.
Dude, I just have like, if you're nothing without the suit, then you shouldn't have it.
Oh, that gave me chills.
I think about like
That gave me
I've
chills.
made that into a freaking life lesson.
Yeah.
I got a freaking life lesson from Spider-Man. So what about Guardians of the Galaxy?
I just love that.
You know what I gotta say about it?
Opening
Again,
scene.
I said this before. I think that they did what the Avengers did better.
I can see that.
They took people like
Well, actually, I agree with that.
You know
'cause
what
I
big part
put
of it?
Guardians of the Galaxy above the original
Yeah.
Avengers. so I do
I just
agree
like.
with that.
I know this is an opinion of mine, but I like. I don't know when they bring like retro spin into
Yes.
the future. That was awesome.
I do the soundtrack, obviously. So good. I love it.
oh, that's hard. But you know, a big thing about it was the Avengers didn't feel different enough. The Guardians of the Galaxy crew, they truly feel diverse.
Yeah.
They do. They feel like their own Avengers almost
Yeah.
by themselves.
The
and not,
Space Avengers.
yeah.
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 Like, kind of like how the Avengers are for the physical world. The Sorcerer group is for the material, like the dimensional planes,
Where you can't
the
see.
spiritual planes. Yeah, and they're like the Guardians of Space.
You know what I think I have to say right now, which is very important? I think that we have determined that, just from our conversations, Homecoming and Guardians of the Galaxy have had, like, pretty damn big impacts on the MCU. Has Thor Ragnarok as its own movie left a large impact?
I felt like it was more impacted by Guardians of the Galaxy. That's the vibe
What do
I
you
got from it. It was like inspired to try to be more like those movies. That's what I got.
I'm looking at it more of like its impact on the flow of the story, more as like not so much as it being made as a film,
Oh, okay.
but it more as like, because like in terms of the story of the MCU, which I think, you know what, I think that might have been a big issue on, like, when I made my list. I think I kind of forgot about that aspect. I think I looked too much at them being good films rather than their impact on the universe. And I think that out of these, Ragnarok had the lowest impact. Do you think?
Yeah, I think.
I would be willing to drop Ragnarok. I
Okay.
loved the film,
Ragnarok's
but compared
out.
with the other two,
It doesn't
No.
even come close.
No,
It's definitely, I definitely like it more just like as its own movie, in terms of like visuals and comedy and stuff like that.
I just felt
But-
the comedy, it sucked you out of the story so much.
Oh, you think?
I think it did. It's
I thought it worked.
I thought
Some-
it sounded nice, but
sometimes
When they
it was
tried
good.
comedy in Asgard, that felt weird.
What felt
Like Hela tried to make jokes, or that one guy, although the fucking got these from Texas.
that
I
was
fuck-
that was a funny one.
that I liked.
Like I said, the humor works sometimes. But then
Sometimes.
sometimes it's just
Yeah,
too
it's
much.
got flaws.
Too much. So here, what we'll do, we'll give it third place. It got
It's
third
got
yeah,
third
it's
place.
third place.
Third
Third
place.
place.
Third place.
So it's between Guardians.
I like that. I think that's a good place for it.
Mhm.
Third
And-
place.
So it's between Guardians and Spider-Man.
What an interesting pick.
I know.
Like, not even an Avengers film.
I know.
I did not expect that.
I think that's a big thing. Like I said, like most of the time I looked at it too much as like from a film standpoint. But I do think that maybe even subconsciously one of the reasons why I consider Infinity War my favorite is because I just see it as that really nice mixture of all of the MCU. You know?
Oh, man. You know, I actually think a part of me wanted that too much when I watched Endgame, and it blurred my
Hey,
vision
that
of it.
happens.
Like,
you know?
because I wanted Endgame to be that so bad. More than Infinity War, given it was the last Avengers. Like, it's the Endgame.
Yeah.
This is the one where it all collides. Which they kind of redid it again. Like, they did the final showdown twice. The secondary final showdown, I don't know how to say it. But
That's the final showdown. This is the other final showdown. That's the other final showdown.
Hey, we gotta pick one to end the movie.
All of them! All of them!
Just can't pick one.
Which one? I really hate to
Specifically
say
Homecoming.
this because I feel, again, like I said, I feel like as a film, Spider-Man was done much better.
Yeah.
I feel like in terms of writing and many things like that, it's tighter. I feel like than Guardians, but Guardians I feel like does just have that impact,
I was going to say,
like that lasting impact.
I can't think of an MCU movie that has impacted me more than Guardians of the
Yeah,
Galaxy.
that's true.
It's
and I would argue that, like, yes, Spider-Man was tighter with all their characters, but it had fewer.
That's what I'm saying.
And no, but like, oh yeah, okay, never mind.
Yeah,
like
well,
the group.
It's
but
just
the
like
group like interacting with each other. I
While
can't get over
they're-
the love of
I
like
know,
just that.
I love it so
It's
because like with Spider-Man, while there was like Iron Man and wasn't Nick Fury in the first one? No, he wasn't.
Captain America.
Captain America.
But he
yeah.
was only in like the
Yeah.
promotional
Well,
videos.
and like with that, plus I feel like you can kind of see. I feel like it can almost come across on the screen, that tension between Marvel and Sony.
Now
You can see that it's like you can make this movie,
Kind of gives
but you're
it
doing
an
it on
unfair
our terms.
disadvantage.
there's something big too with Spider-Man. I felt like it was relying more on the MCU than Guardians was, because there is no cameo from any other MCU character in that movie.
There isn't. So the point that you're making, if I can understand, is like Guardians left that big of an impact, and it technically wasn't even trying. Spider-Man feels so small scale that it feels kind of wrong to make that the best MCU film.
And like I said, I think Guardians would have been a success even if it wasn't part of the MCU.
Yeah.
Whereas
for sure.
Spider-Man Homecoming, I don't think would have been.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, it's Spider-Man, but you've seen like them fail so many times in the past, and it's like they recast him a third time, and then I feel like it would not have been as successful if it wasn't integrated into the MCU.
it has an impact on the Avengers side of the MCU,
But not anything else.
but Guardians of the Galaxy opens up a completely different door to the MCU.
Spider-Man kind of did add a bit to the universe, as well as like take from the universe, so it connected well. It made it flow. Guardians of the Galaxy did open tons of potential on their own without, so that's good too.
Well, the
But,
point, the point that
what
he
were you guys
made,
talking about?
and I think that I have to agree with him, is like they had a major impact on the MCU. Not even just like the universe story itself, but like the movies too. Had a major impact on the movies, and they weren't even trying to, you know?
Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yeah. Because they didn't rely on
Yeah.
cameos from other characters. It was
Things-
a completely new thing.
And things kind of like shifted gears. And even like with how people talked about the Marvel Universe, like once Guardians of the Galaxy came out, things shifted.
Yeah. They seriously had almost no connection to the Avengers.
Until
It was even like Infinity War, like, or it's like I'm not from Earth, I'm from Missouri. Yeah, that's on Earth, dipshit. Well, like, what were you saying? Where it's like,
I think that Guardians of the Galaxy would have been successful even if it wasn't
Yeah,
part
that's
of
what
the
it-
MCU.
whereas-
Whereas Spider-Man Homecoming would not have been. So.
like
Oh,
Iron Man being
because
there
it
definitely
relied
helped.
on the MCU. It itself, it's a branch of the tree.
Yeah. And I will say this, while I definitely like, again going back to my point before, while I definitely like the second one more as a film, the second one definitely left a bigger impact.
Yeah.
Or I mean the first one did.
Yeah.
The first one left a bigger impact because that was the movie that opened all the freaking doors. You know, like you met one of the elders of the universe, and you met all these different characters, and like the connection to like the Kree and the Skrulls and all that, and it's, ooh, yeah.
Okay. Wow.
We've come to our conclusion.
Clay, amazing. Single point.
Just one point, and
Point,
we were
one
like,
point.
hey, you know what? Yeah, we got it.
Wait,
You're
okay.
welcome.
Just think for a moment, though. Is there anything that you can really solidly counterpoint for Spider-Man?
No. I love Spider-Man more as a film because I think it has less flaws in it film-wise. But can you tell me, looking at those two films and what they encapsulate, can you really tell me that that Spider-Man Homecoming is more important to the MCU than Guardians of the Galaxy? That's the point. That was what I was going to say before. It's like, can you really just look at the two movies in terms of the huge pool that they're in and say that Spider-Man Homecoming has the biggest ripple effect compared to Guardians?
Guardians of the Galaxy had a huge effect.
Yeah, they didn't even mention the
No.
Avengers. The only connection was frickin' Thanos. That
Yeah.
was it.
And
that
you didn't
wasn't-
even know that.
They
Yeah.
weren't even with Thanos yet, with the Avengers.
No.
And like I said, they weren't even connected to Earth at all. They called it Terra.
The only thing was just the beginning where he got abducted. That was
Yeah.
it, though.
Everybody, the freaking winner for the best MCU movie is fucking Guardians of the Galaxy. Let's give it up, everybody.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of my asshole.